Stop for this year's class of quarterbacks after the Combine Pro Days. UCLA held their Pro Day yesterday, which meant many eyes on Josh Rosen, often referred to as the best pure passer in this year's draft. Rosen, looking to create some buzz after a solid Combine, offered up an open script so coaches and scouts could make their requests. Alden Gonzalez and Matt Hasselbeck were in Westwood for the show.
Thanks very much. Now, Matt, this was your first chance to see Josh Rosen up close. He didn't go through any of the real Combine drills, but he did throw. What were your takeaways today?
Well, there was a lot of excitement. I think that's the number one takeaway is that, there are 100 scouts here. Every team was represented. You had guys like John Elway and Anthony Lynn and Sean Payton, and the list goes on and on. Teams that might be drafting a quarterback, and some you think, wow, I didn't know you were interested in a quarterback. But there was a lot of buzz to come see this kid throw in person. Yeah, it was a bright, sunny day, but it was very windy today. So he performed pretty well given the conditions.
One thing they say a lot about Josh is that he's a very natural thrower of the football, but maybe there are some questions about his arm strength. Based on just what you saw with him throwing, what were your takeaways in that?
Well, I have no questions at all about his arm strength. I think his arm looks great on film. Even more so, I'll double down on that after watching him throw today in person in windy conditions. I mean, he's got all the arm strength that he needs. The thing that stood out to me, there was a miscommunication on a route. He said run an out route, the receiver runs an in route, miscommunication, kind of a lull, and everyone's paying attention. And what did he do? How did he handle the situation? He said, hey, that was my fault. That one's on me. That's my fault, everybody. Just this week, there was another quarterback had a pro day, missed a throw, and he's yelling at the wide receiver. He's like, hey, you're supposed to run that at 18 yards, not 15 yards. Those are the little things that scouts and particularly coaches, they're going to be paying attention to more so than your height and weight and your standing broad jump. So I was impressed seeing that today as well.
So for a guy who's faced questions about his personality, what can that mean for him moving forward?
Well, I think with anything, you just never know till the kid gets into the NFL. And I remember when I was coming out, I wasn't ready either. But this kid is a kid. I think he's a young kid with a ton of ability, really smart guy. And if you draft him and you feel confident in your coaches, I think he could turn into a very special quarterback at the next level.
Back to you.
Okay, guys, we talked about it with the veteran quarterbacks, the free agents, how certainly one size does not fit all, and especially true with this class of rookies and Josh Rosen in particular. You have to have a strong organization, let's say, to take on a strong personality.
Strong personality, you've heard that a few times. But, I mean, when we're talking at the Combine with coaches and team executives, the question was, what does that mean? Is he the kind of guy whose attitude will turn off teammates? If that's true, then it's a red flag. If it's the kind of guy that, is going to push back on coaching a little bit, then maybe you can handle that. So I think that was people were trying to get him in a room and get to know him a little bit and get a sense of that. But the injury concerns are, I think, more significant than that, right? The health issues that he's had some shoulder issues, so they want to make sure that's okay. But when you talk about how he plays, what you hear is of these prospects, he's the most polished in the pocket in terms of his footwork and his mechanics and his throwing from the pocket, and there's a lot to like.
Is this a strong enough personality to decide and try to force where I want to play? I mean, this is the quarterback position, okay? This is a kid that's born and raised in Southern California, played at UCLA. Does he even want to go to Cleveland? What if he's there at pick number 3 and Buffalo wants to trade up and get him? Are we going to see any quarterback drama is what I'm saying. We've seen it before in the past. The Mannings, certain quarterback families that don't want their son playing a certain place. Is this the type of guy that says, you know what, I'm good with everything that I have. I don't want to play anywhere. There's a certain place I want to play, and I will do what I have to do to get there. That's what I'm curious about. Is he that strong of a personality? Because Denver, San Diego, I can just see him and how his mind is turning. Like, these guys are coming and look at me play. They got a strong interest, and that's where I want to be. What can I do to craft that?
It's interesting, though. What if the draft hypothetically went, and it's not unimaginable that it would, quarterback at 1 and 2, and Josh Rosen were not one of the top 2 quarterbacks picked, and it went Darnold Allen or Allen Darnold, whatever order you want to see it go in. And then the Buffalo Bills made the dramatic attempt up to number 3 that many people believe they will.
This guy I do not see in Buffalo. I do not see in Buffalo a kid that's from Southern California coming all the way to Buffalo to play. And sure, you don't have a choice. Most positional players don't have a choice. But if a quarterback makes a stink and says, I don't want to play there, don't draft me, I'd rather be in Denver, what's going to happen?
You know what?
What's going to happen?
I'm Brandon Beane. I'm Sean McDermott. You're Josh Rosen. You're telling me I don't want to go to Buffalo. I say, I trade up to the 3rd pick. I need a quarterback. I'm taking you. I own your rights, and you're coming to Buffalo.
They have every right to do that, and I say they don't want to do that to a quarterback that's supposedly their franchise player in the future by forcing him to come if he's telling you that I don't want to go there.
And I'll also tell you this. Jim Kelly, back in the day when the Buffalo Bills drafted him, was famous for making that statement that he would never go to Buffalo, had no desire to be in Buffalo, didn't want to be there. Lo and behold, he went to Buffalo, had a Hall of Fame career, and is a legend in the community and still resides there.
This is a guy that's shown he thinks for himself. He has his own thoughts, he has his own beliefs. I'm just saying, Cleveland, Buffalo, I'm from California. I'm a California kid. I know how it's viewed out there, all right? I mean, it's just blustery winter, all of this stuff. You love being in California, okay? I would just say, is this kid that type of kid? Do you want to play for anyone? Or are there certain places you'll only play? Yes.
There's a lot of speculative stuff here, though, right?
Right there it is. Yes, that's all we're doing here. That's all we're doing.
I get it. But it's not necessarily fair to these young men to speculate on, like, go from this is a guy who thinks for himself to this is a guy that could cause a problem. We don't know that, and I think that's what teams are trying to find out. And I don't get the sense that he's coming off that way in interviews and discussions with teams. But we'll see. Still 6 weeks till the draft, and a lot of time to.
What could happen?
Fortunately or unfortunately, pick these guys apart, as we always do.
He did say there'd be nothing wrong with going to a team that maybe is a better fit later than going early. Just saying. And I would like to have a seat in the quarterback room with A.J. McCarron, who also does not lack for confidence.
That's true.
That pair actually did happen.
That would be an interesting dynamic in that room.